just imagining not working with them anymore, it hurts.
Now on KGW News at noon, thousands of Forest Service workers laid off in the Pacific Northwest. What they say will happen to your favorite trails. Plus, new video today of the Delta plane that flipped on its roof. How passengers got out of the plane and all survived. And later, Uber making changes to support riders with service animals. Why some call it not tough enough to combat discrimination against them. Your News at Noon starts right now. Thanks for joining us at noon. I'm China Green. First over to Rod Hill to look at your weather for the rest of today, as well as a weather impact alert for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good afternoon now. I'll catch up. Cloudy skies, and that's the way it's going to continue the remainder of today. Eventually, I think we'll start to see some raindrops follow those clouds. Been watching radar, thickening clouds coming up from our southwest. So far, not a lot of rain being reported. Actually reaching the ground out of these clouds, but the fact that the radar beam is showing some green shows that the clouds are thickening and the cloud deck is lowering. Here's a look. It looks like there probably is some rain offshore there. This is Chinook Winds Casino Resort Camera in Lincoln City, and actually they are reporting some raindrops right now, 49 degrees. Clouds but dry over the Oregon Garden Resort in Silverton, and so far clouds but dry in downtown Portland. There's no wind, and we're at 48 degrees. We will at least get up into the 50s, and certainly by 3 o'clock moving on into the evening, the chances of rain get better and better, and eventually we'll have some light rain this afternoon and also into this evening. Now, behind everything that comes in today is a pretty good cold front, and I still think we're going to have periods of heavier rain with some gusty winds Wednesday, perhaps right from the get-go in the early morning. So we do have a KGW weather impact alert for your Wednesday morning commute. Heavier rain, some gusty winds east out of the gorge, south coming up out of the valley. Could be difficult depending on what you have planned outdoors, and certainly it would slow up your travel. So tomorrow morning, a good idea to get up early and kind of check things before you get on with your day. We'll have more on that in my complete forecast coming up. Back to you.
Thank you, Rod. Mass firings of national parks and Forest Service workers began last Friday in the name of government efficiency. Now, this is felt locally in the Pacific Northwest, and yesterday people took to the streets protesting the layoffs. Here's Eric Wilkinson.
Washington's national parks and forests are jewels that make the Evergreen State one of the most unique places in America. But now those lands have become a battleground. Demonstrators take to the streets of Bellingham protesting the Trump presidency and actions his administration has taken in the name of government efficiency. Among those protesting today, National Forest Service workers fired from their jobs over the weekend. Chelsea Colmar lost the seasonal job she's had for 8 years.
All the people I work with are like family, and just imagining not working with them anymore, it hurts.
Thousands of national park and forest workers will soon be without jobs. They're the people who do all the little things like maintaining trails, guiding visitors, and cleaning the bathrooms.
There'll be no one to take a pumper truck out to do the glamorous job of pumping out a 1,000-gallon toilet.
Visitors to the North Cascades National Park pumped more than $26 million into the local economy in 2023 alone, leading many to surmise perhaps the president isn't seeing the forest for the trees in his attempt to save money. Matt Ross says the impacts will be widespread.
The trails that we manage, there's over 500,000 visits per year, and all those people are spending money in our communities.
A total of about 4,400 national park and forest workers are expected to lose their jobs. We're told that firefighters will be spared. Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
New videos today show the moment a Delta Airlines plane crash landed at Toronto's Pearson Airport yesterday and flipped upside down. You can see what looks like flames coming from the back of that plane as it hit the ground, and then a big cloud of black smoke. All 76 passengers and 4 crew members survived, though 18 people were injured. Now, here's a video showing some of those passengers escape from the overturned plane. Fire crews also responded, putting foam on it.
I was in the window seat on the looker's left side, and then all of a sudden I just remember being fully sideways, and I was looking down and just seeing like sparks and flames and whatever was grinding against the ground. And then, yeah, it happened pretty dang quick, and we were just upside down hanging from our seatbelts.
The airport was able to reopen a few hours after the crash. Canada's Transportation Safety Board is leading an investigation into what happened, and investigators from the U.S. are assisting. Now, this crash comes just weeks after our nation's deadliest aviation disaster in decades. 67 people died when a military helicopter collided with the plane about to land at Reagan National. Now, over the weekend, the Trump administration fired hundreds of employees with the Federal Aviation Mission. The union called the firings a hastily made decision that would put more work on a workforce that is already stretched thin.
You can't introduce risk into the national airspace system. There's no way you can ever just take a shot at it and go, let's try this. It's too fragile. It's robust, but it's fragile at the same time. And we always talk about lining up those holes of the Swiss cheese, and that would be an enormous hole in that piece of Swiss cheese.
The Transportation Department spokesperson said the agency has retained employees who perform safety critical functions. Here locally, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is investigating a suspicious death on Sauvie Island after a body was found yesterday afternoon on the banks of the Willamette. So here's a look from this morning from the island near the park and a ridge at the Wapato Bridge. At this point, the Sheriff's Office says it does not believe there's any danger to the public. An autopsy will identify the person and how they died. Take a look at this video from Fairview where a truck flipped on its side yesterday after getting caught in some overhead power lines near Northwest 223rd and Sandy. We also have surveillance video that shows the truck trying to leave a parking lot with the hook on the back of the truck still extended. After getting caught in the wires, as you just saw there, the truck flipped over. The crash caused a small power outage, and the driver stayed in the vehicle until help arrived and wasn't hurt. Now to a very close call for a deputy in Jefferson County after a speeding pickup truck lost control and smashed into a stopped car. So this happened last Thursday afternoon on Highway 97. No one was seriously injured here, but the deputy was responding to a crash when a truck hit the stopped car. That driver missed a deputy and another person by just a few feet, as you're seeing here. Another reminder to slow down in poor conditions and to move over for first responders. Providence and its healthcare workers are beginning a new round of negotiations today as the strike enters its 6th week. More than a week ago, the unionized nurses rejected a tentative agreement from Providence, arguing the offer didn't go far enough to address their concerns. And now they are facing a deadline as Providence is letting the healthcare benefits lapse for those striking at the end of the month. Portland City Council sent a letter to Providence yesterday urging a quick and fair resolution.
The punishing nature of being denied a fair contract, being driven to a strike, and then compounded with the punishment of this threat of cutting off health insurance is really unsafe and unacceptable.
Remember in 2020 when we were banging pots and pans and thanking our essential workers? Well, they've been there the whole time. And you thank them by showing up in a contract and giving them the resources they need so we can recruit, retain, and fairly pay nurses.
Providence confirmed that they are returning to the bargaining table with the assistance of federal mediators and said that they are not commenting further on the status of negotiations at this time. In Saudi Arabia today, the U.S. and Russia agreed in high-level talks to improve diplomatic ties and reestablish staffing at respective embassies. Now, they also discussed the future of Ukraine. NBC's Kara Simmons is in Saudi Arabia with the latest.
Well, these are the first formal, if hastily organized, talks between the US and Russia since Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. The delegations, or at least some of them, are staying here at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Riyadh. The talks are taking place in a Saudi Arabian palace. We caught up with Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov as he left for the meeting here. He was staying tight-lipped. What is happening behind closed doors, not yet clear, but one of the Russian officials is clearly here to try to negotiate a reduction or removal of sanctions. He himself is sanctioned by the US. That a clue as to what the Russians are looking for. The Ukrainians deeply worried. President Zelensky is not here at the table. He says anything agreed in a meeting between the US and Russia is not agreed by Ukraine, but US officials trying to reassure President Trump's envoy, Keith Kellogg, heading to Ukraine this week, he says, for 3 days, and he will continue to go back. The Europeans not at the table. Yesterday in Paris, they struggled to even agree whether they would send troops to Ukraine to try to shore up any kind of a ceasefire. These talks still taking place here in Saudi Arabia today. Keir Simmons, NBC News, Saudi Arabia.
And to the national protest yesterday against Trump's presidency. Here in Oregon, protesters gathered outside the state capitol in Salem and the Portland City Hall. Here's what one protester had to say.
The message is that we're here to peacefully tell you that there's a fascist coup going on. We need to uphold the Constitution. What Elon and Trump are doing in the White House is illegal. That is not how a democratic republic is run.
Organizers say the plan is to have similar rallies like today's once a month in every state.